Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Miss Jen over at the Taylor Library, and today we have another craft for you. If you look at your bag, we're getting down to the end of things, so it's a little bit thinner than it was at the beginning. We're gonna need a few supplies. The first will be some markers, save those. The next is this little bag with what looks like straw, and then a cupcake liner and 2 Google eyes. And then in our folder, you'll see a piece of orange paper and a piece of black paper. Okay. And then you'll also need your glue stick. And lastly, you'll need a pair of scissors. So today we're making scarecrows. So the orange paper is going to be our backdrop. We're actually going to fold up a small section, try to make this as straight as you can so that we have a thin, about 1-inch line at the bottom that we're gonna cut off and use for another part of our craft. So carefully cut along the line you just folded. That and save that for later. So this is our backdrop. And now in our bag, we're going to be getting out the cupcake liner to begin with. So this will flatten out, and this will be our face for our little scarecrow. So with the glue stick, I'm gonna glue all over on the cupcake liner. Might get crinkled, but it will flatten out once you lay it onto the paper behind. Okay, so we'll flip that over into just about center. We'll start in the middle and then just push out towards the sides, and that will make the most flat surface for the face. If you have like coming up, you can always take the glue and just add more along the edge so that it lays flat, like that. Doesn't need to be perfect. A little bit of wrinkle in there might look nice as well. So the next thing that we're going to do is in our bag, we can take these pieces out and take out our Google eyes. Once we get the eyes on, we'll have a good idea of how we want to do the rest of the face. So the eyes will go about 1/3 of the way down. So the way I tell what 1/3 is if I put 2 lines, 2 fingers like this, you want them towards the these fingers. So that's how I can tell what 1/3 is. So I'm gonna glue these on, just like that. And again, a scarecrow is supposed to look a little wonky. These eyes can be all over the place. They don't need to be perfect. The point is for it to scare away the crows. So there's that. Next, we're gonna give them a hat. So with our black piece of paper, we're going to cut a rectangle, and the rectangle should fit just above his head, like that. So I'm gonna use this as a guide, cut like that, and then cut the opposite direction so I have a nice rectangle. So this is the basis for my hat. Doesn't need to be perfect. Then we're gonna go about halfway up, a little less than halfway up, cut a line just about that wide, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Cut a line, and then we're gonna cut it at an angle towards the top so that he gets a little point in his hat. Just like that. If you mess up, that's okay. Perfect. So this is his hat. How cute is that? So we're gonna leave that to the side for now. The next thing we're gonna do is take this stuff, this is raffia, and we're gonna use it to give him hair and a nice collar. So this stuff is going to wrap around like hair. So we're gonna cut it into smaller, more manageable pieces. This stuff is really long, and I like longer hair on my Scarecrow, but if you'd like him to have short, spiky hair, that's okay too. And we're gonna put some glue right at the top of his head and make sure that it's a lot of glue. You should be able to kind of see it, just like that, and start sticking down your raffia. And if you've got longer hairs, you can give him a haircut. Put that back on top, like that. Kind of give him some more sticking out this way. Kind of make his hair a little bit wild. He wants to be a little bit scary for the crows. He needs to look a little bit intimidated, or she. And you don't need to use all of the raffia if you don't want to. Just use what you can. Sometimes it's hard to stick and it might take a little while to dry. But that's right. All right. So now I want to also give him little pieces around his neck so it looks like he's got a little bit of fluff coming out of it. With scarecrows in the field, they usually are stuffed full of hay. So giving him a little bit of stuff poking out at the bottom will make it look like he's actually full of hay. So let's take it out like that. Just like that. Perfect. So I'm happy with that face. Now what I'm gonna do is above his head, I'm gonna glue on the hat so that it's overlapping or covering a lot of the raffia. It might be better to wait for this to dry a little bit just so that it really sticks down. Perfect. So here's my hat and I'm gonna place it and squish it down so that it covers the raffia. There we go. So this stuff is extra. You can use it all or just some of it, whatever works for you. Now, the next thing we're going to be doing is adding his features. So he needs a nose. I'm gonna use this scrap piece of paper that I cut, and I'm gonna cut a little triangle. So I'm just cutting at an angle right there, and that's gonna be my nose. I'm gonna glue that down, put some glue in the middle, and stick on his nose. There we go. Now, I wanna make his hat have maybe some patches, because if you look at scarecrows in the fields, they're not always perfect. Usually they have old clothes on, and they're all patched up. So I'm going to take this and just glue it onto his hat. It's a little square that I cut. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I want it to look kind of like he's been patched up and fixed. There we go. Now, I'm gonna put that away. Put away these black pieces and this. And then I'm gonna add some last minute details so that he looks like he's stitched up. So taking my marker, I want to use the black marker, but you can use any of them. I'm gonna add a mouth first. I'm gonna draw a semicircle like this. And then to make it look like it's patched, I'm gonna do some lines across. There we go. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on his patch. So So it kind of gives it a little bit of a patchwork quality. Putting little lines, that shows that it's been sewn on. And then if you really want, you can add a pattern. Looks like it's real fabric. And then you can give him some shoulders with your marker. You want like that. And then you can color in his shirt. I think you look good with a red shirt. Just like that. And that's really it. You can add any details you want. Some scarecrows have other birds on their shoulders. Some scarecrows have a longer nose. Some scarecrows don't have any patches. Some of them have more hair, some of them have less. The good thing is that you can build it any way. And it looks like there's a guy standing or a woman standing out in the field scaring away your crows and protecting your harvest. Now we're getting close to the end of harvest season. The last of our pumpkins are being picked as we speak, and now winter is coming. So scarecrow is a great thing to have towards the end of the year. I hope that you guys enjoyed this craft. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.